Hey guys, welcome back to another video on what if Sophia survived in The Walking Dead. So before we get into the video, I just want to say I'm sorry for not uploading a bunch lately. Cause it's just basically I've been kind of busy. So I will get back to uploading as usual, like on a regular upload schedule. I mean, as you can see, I'm not even used to talking like in a video anymore because I haven't done this in a long time. But I will try to get back to the upload schedule, and trust me, I will. I mean, you don't have to, but please do. But further aside, let's just get into the video. Merle would take Glenn and Maggie to Woodbury, and he'd torture them, asking where Daryl and the others are, and where they're camped at, as he wants to know where Daryl is and if he's safe, and he just wants to reunite with his little brother again. And Merle would just beat down Glenn when he doesn't answer him. And Merle would injure Glenn to the point where he can't even walk on his own. And back at the prison, we'd see Rick and Daryl, who have not seen Glenn and Maggie for a while, as they were supposed to come back by now, and they haven't. But then they'd see something at the fence of the prison, and at the gate, they'd see Rick would see Michonne, who he doesn't know yet, and she'd be covered in walker guts. So the walkers wouldn't attack her because, as they see, Michonne is one of them. But in reality, she's not, of course, because she just killed one of the zombies/walkers, and then spread its guts around her, and now she's blended in with them. And Michonne would be let in, and immediately Rick would get hostile with her, and he'd tell her to stay back. And Michonne says, "I have baby formula, and I know there's a baby at this prison, and I'm pretty sure 2 of your group members were just caught by this man. I know where he is, but I will help you out, but you just gotta come with me and maybe help with my wounds." And Herschel would be desperate, so he asks Rick, as his daughter's out there, and he tells Rick, "I'll treat her wounds as long as she tells us where Maggie and Glenn are." And Herschel would treat her wounds, and Michonne says they have a big army of people, at least 75 to 74. And Shane points his gun at Michonne, and he says, "You really believe this girl? Just because she brought us some formula for Judas and all that doesn't mean she's all good. She could be even lying. Glenn and Maggie are probably coming back right now." And Daryl would point his crossbow up at Shane, and he says, if they have Glenn and Maggie, we at least should wait a day to make sure Glenn and Maggie are at least there. You're right, they could even be lying. She could even be lying, but if we kill her now, we can't even get to Glenn and Maggie, so there's no point. So just wait out a day. If Glenn and Maggie don't come, we're gonna get to that place she's talking about. We're going to help them out. We're going to get this girl some supplies and send her on her way. And a day passes by, and Shane is proven to be wrong. And Shane's like, "Well, I guess she was right. Now let's get heading. Who's coming?" And the people going are Jimmy, Oscar, and Daryl, and Michonne, and also Rick, and lastly, we got Shane. So this is the group that's going to be going with Michonne to whatever she's saying that they are, and wherever they got taken. Glenn and Maggie, of course, we're talking about. And there'd be a little somebody watching them from afar, as he's been hiding in the prison ever since he was banished from them. And it's Tomas. And he's waiting to get his revenge, so he'd slowly follow them from afar. And after a couple hours, they'd arrive, and they'd wait for night to fall. And when night falls, the group would sneak into Woodbury. And they'd badly injure a couple of Woodbury guards silently, and the governor would be alerted about some random people getting knocked out in his community. So the governor would make an announcement in his community, and he'd tell everybody in the community to watch out as people have broken in, and it's all right as they have this under control, and the governor would send his top militia people to lead the people who were gonna search for these terrorists or whatever they call them. And those people would obviously be people like Merle, Martinez, and Shumpert, of course. And things like Michonne killing the governor's zombified daughter would still all happen, and governor's eye would still get cut out, or whatever you say. So yeah, that stays the same. And while the group are escaping from Woodbury, Tomas would end up shooting one of the group members, and that would be Shane, as he'd shoot Shane in the neck, killing him, and then Shane would turn into a walker/zombie, and then he'd start going around biting people in Woodbury, and And Oscar would be helping Glenn and Maggie he'd be carrying both of them, well, mainly Glenn, as Maggie can stand on her own. But Glenn would be injured from Myrtle beating on him and stuff, so Oscar would be carrying Glenn to escape. And when the group is escaping Woodbury, Martinez would catch Daryl and he'd knock him out. And the governor would immediately know that this is Merle's brother from all the talk they've had and stuff. And Daryl would be on the ground yelling at them. And the governor would tell Daryl to shut the hell up. And Merle would see from far away, and he'd recognize Daryl, and he'd start running over, and he'd yell at the governor, "Hey, that's my brother!" And before Merle could reach to them, the governor just simply shoots Merle in the leg, knocking him to the ground, as thinking Merle was the one who led Rick and his people into Woodbury. And Merle would try to get up, and then the governor would just tell Martinez to knock him out. And Merle would start taking down Martinez while being injured. And before Merle could kill Martinez, the governor would aim his gun at Daryl. And Daryl would look at Merle. And Merle yells at the governor to stop. And the governor would aim at Merle, and then he'd aim back at Daryl, and then a bang! A gunshot would go off. And anyways, guys, that'll be it for today, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed, and bye-bye!